Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. The time is approximately 9:48 p.m. and the date is Monday, March 19th, 2018. It is the night before the Vernal Equinox, or the first day of spring. Some magical traditions refer to that holy day as Ostara, which is the name of a Germanic goddess of springtime, of new beginnings, and of rebirth. And I'm chuckling because I remember when I led my very first, when I led my very second, as opposed to my very first goddess course, Goddess to the Next Level. The first class was either 3 days after, or rather 1 day after, or a week before Easter. So I had made up this chant: Easter, Ostara, Ishtar, Isis, Astarte. Hello, Isis. You want to be in the video? She just looks at me and looks away. Believe it or not, there are videos that feature my alpha female Isis. They're just, it's been a while. Anyway. So, let me begin by acknowledging my newest YouTube channel subscribers. They are Sylvia Alter. She came back up again, so I need to acknowledge her again. And Alter is spelled like, alter ego, turning into a superhero, superheroine. Jamie Webster. And I love this one, Mr. 718 Ricardo Ferreiro, which is definitely, I know that to be a Portuguese surname, so I hope I pronounced it as close to Brazilian Portuguese as I'm capable. So I wanted to talk about, I wanted to give all of you a health and wellness update video, because some of you knew that I was going to have a surgical procedure done. I did. I had it, actually, I was so off. I thought that I was having it on the night of a dark moon. I did not have it on the night of a dark moon. I had it during a waning moon tide, a dark moon tide. The dark moon in Pisces was last Friday, March 16th. The new moon in Pisces was last Saturday, March 17th. Anyway, so I had the surgical procedure in the morning of Thursday, March 15th, 2018. Interestingly enough, the doctor had introduced himself to me about an hour before the procedure. I felt extremely comfortable with him right away. Felt very relaxed with him right away. And I noticed that we were in the operating room. They were prepping me. And then, I did a little bit of a fast forward. I apologize. So, slight fast forward. Take me to the operating room, which is on the same floor. And then it was approximately 7:49 a.m. The surgery was supposed to be at 7:30 a.m. Somebody had was leaving a voicemail for the doctor. Doctor comes in and he mentioned that there was somebody who needed his medical care a little bit more at that moment because that patient was more emergent. I said, I completely understand. I'm okay. I started laughing a little bit because here I was nervous as hell, in a nervous wreck. And, now it's like I'm laughing because, the stress of this surgery is like, dissipating. So, of course, and they brought me back to the cubicle where I was. I think on ER they would call it curtain area. It was cubicle number 5, which was not lost to me since that's Oshun's sacred number. And they told me that it would now be taking place at 12 noon. It wound up taking place at 10 a.m. I will spare you the gory details because there were a few. And then I was fully anesthetized, which made me extremely happy. I'm like, yes, I do not want, because I remember when I first began reading about this surgical procedure, there was something that I'd read about a local anesthetic, and I'd be awake for the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't want to be awake for the whole thing. The last thing I want to do is open my eyes and see the monitor, and it's like, oh, I don't want to see that. It's one thing when I watch a television show like ER or some other kind of, or The Good Doctor. It's like, okay, that's one thing. But, I don't watch these documentaries that are, feature actual doctors and so, no, I don't do that. So yeah, I really did not have that's not one of my interests in life. And then that was, well, hello, I'm doing a video, Isis, but you can be in the video if you want. Huh? You want to be in the video? Nothing. Just walks away. Oh, well. So yeah, so I was completely anesthetized. It was a very potent anesthetic because... Anesthetic, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. I had to check with my awesome audiovisual person because I'm like, anesthetic, yeah. It was very potent because I remember one of the operating team was like, Mr. Alvarez, please wake up. And I'm like, I'm awake, sounding extremely groggy and not at all awake. And my mouth was very dry. But they eventually brought me, some ice water and some apple juice. And there was another beverage, but I don't remember what it... Oh, the beverage was separate. It was... Oh, that's right. It was coffee. Yeah. So coming into the building, let me tell you, this coffee smelled good. It was called Royal Blend. I'm way off topic, but you know me and me coffee. Me lives for coffee, even though I'm drinking tea today. Go figure. Long story short, they kept me in the hospital overnight. I was discharged the late afternoon, early evening of last Friday, March 16th, 2018, which was the actual night of the dark moon in Pisces, the night before the new moon in Pisces. And I had the opportunity to have what I call a rare weekend at home, because between my professional psychic practice and my side position of employment, it is extremely rare for me to be able to spend a Saturday and a Sunday, or a Saturday followed by a Sunday at home. It's extremely rare. So I definitely made the most of getting as much rest as possible, getting as much relaxation as possible, watching as many videos as possible. I love this sweet touch and tea, I'm telling you. And then, I with my side position of employment, I have a telephone working option. It's a telephone work at home option. I don't use it that often. I only use it essentially if I'm out sick, or if I'm feeling under the weather, or if if it's inclement weather. I'll usually use that option. But most of the work that I do for this organization, I do in person. And then with my professional psychic practice, I actually did take an additional appointment, and I do apologize in advance if some of you are upset about that. It was unexpected. I was actually contacted by somebody that I had met for the first time at Reverend Yolanda's Church with a Tutor Minimum. Beautiful energy, lovely energy. And it's funny because, in my life, especially after becoming a professional psychic, I've met people that would say, oh yeah, I'll call you, I'll have a reading with you, I'll schedule a session with you, but they don't mean it. They're just saying it for whatever reason that they're saying it. But this person I knew instinctively was genuine about it. And it turns out that his appointment with me, he's a first-time client, thank you, Goddess, will be this Thursday, actually. And it's so funny because I am going out Thursday night. Now, some of you are like, well, why is Robert doing all this shit when he needs to be at home? Okay, so first of all, one of the prognoses is that I must move my left arm as little as possible. And I am to refrain from lifting it above my head. So I'm not going to be doing some African dance moves or some Zumba with my left arm anytime soon. I definitely have noticed that I've always noticed that even though I'm right-handed, I use my left hand for certain things. Like when I take medication or when I take my vitamins, I will put the tablets in my left hand and drink it with my right. I've noticed that it's a little bit easier for me to take the medication, take my vitamins, take my aspirin with my right hand, put it in my mouth, and then drink with my right hand. Wearing button-down shirts is definitely recommended right now, hence why I'm wearing button-down shirts, or why I'm wearing a button-down shirt. The scar is hideous. I will just say that. And what I've noticed is this surgical procedure has brought up a lot of negative emotions and a lot of deep-seated emotional wounds. Now, I don't have an issue with that per se, and I'll tell you why. I've been a Reiki master for a little more than 10 years. I think it's been around 20 years or so that I've been a Reiki master. And I noticed that when I met a lot of people over the years who are Reiki practitioners or Reiki masters, that they didn't usually focus on the emotional healing aspect of Reiki. And I always found that to be odd. Like, people have physical wounds, but people also have emotional wounds. They have mental scars. They have spiritual wounds. So I believe that any energy healing treatment, any energy healing modality is designed to heal all of those wounds, not just the physical ones. So I've noticed that there is some stuff, some deep emotional stuff that's come up for me throughout this, because of this experience. And I need to acknowledge that. I'd rather not discuss that in this video. I'm sure that if I'm divinely guided to discuss that in a future video, I will. But I felt it was important for me to acknowledge it with all of you, that there have been some physical stuff that's been happening, but there's been some emotional stuff that's been happening. And I need to be extremely patient with myself, because I know that I'm not going to recover overnight. Clearly, that's not the case. I also know that there are it seems as though the number of people who have been praying for me and lighting candles for me and sending me healing energies seems to increase with each passing video, WordPress blog post, broadcast email. And I am most thankful. I am so very beyond most thankful for all of you that have been doing that. And I know that the number of you has significantly increased since last month. So thank you for all of that. In the meantime, I definitely will continue to recover and recuperate. It is a minor surgical procedure. It was not a major surgical procedure. It was not open heart surgery, which is why I'm home so soon after the surgery. Oh, and by the way, the food is not that good at this hospital. I had a feeling that the food at the hospital that I normally go to would have spoiled me, and sure enough it did. The breakfasts and the dinners left a lot to be desired. The lunches were good. Not entirely good, but they were good. It's funny because I was reading one of the reviews on Foursquare about this hospital, and somebody had written that Jose's Bodega has better food, cheaper prices, but you tend to take your life in your hands when you go there, because it's a rough neighborhood or something like that. And I was just like, I know how to dodge bullets, and I'm like, Robert, this is not funny. It's like, come on, you don't need to go to Jose's Bodega and run the risk of getting shot, But I do have a follow-up appointment. When I was going through my papers, I didn't see it, so I need to call the hospital and find out when it is. And I just might go to Jose's Bodega. Hopefully it's still there, But yeah, I'm like, okay, the food is better at Jose's Bodega. That's all I need to know. And Isis is looking at me. You want something, and I'm in the middle of something. Oh. You look so cute, you gorgeous black cat, but you want world domination. Porque yo te conozco. Yo te conozco. I know you, bitch. I know you. She just lifted up her head. I know that girl. I know her. In the meantime, and those of you who have cats, it's like, you're totally getting this. Totally getting this. In the meantime, if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel of yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan, and yes, there is a fan going on because it's a bit warm in here, I invite you to do so. Absolutely, please make sure to click or tap the bell icon so that you will receive notifications, and you may wish to periodically check your bell to make sure that you continue receiving notifications. I do not have a schedule with regards to when I upload videos. It really is a matter of how in the mood I am, how available I am, if I'm busy, if I'm not busy, if I'm divinely guided, and of course, if my awesome audiovisual person is not only available but wide awake. So all of those variables, all of those components determine if I'm going to do one video or 10 videos or somewhere in between, and how often. Also, if you have not already scheduled an appointment with me, whether it is for an intuitive card reading or an energy healing treatment or a private class, whether it is in person, via phone, or via Skype, I absolutely invite you to do so as soon as possible. I can handle a telephone reading, so if you want to have a telephone reading with me or a Skype reading with me this week or next, I definitely recommend you schedule your appointment sooner than later. I also would recommend that you contact me via my email address, which is thetarotman@excite.com. Once again, T as in Tom, H-E, T as in Tom, A-R-O, T as in Tom, M as in Michael, A, N as in Nathaniel, at EXCITE.com. Thetarotman@excite.com. That doesn't mean that you have to have a tarot reading with me. You can have an oracle card reading with me if you like. Other kinds of readings I don't usually like to do via phone or Skype. I might try a rune reading by phone or by Skype. I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But for some reason, I find that palm readings, rune readings, they seem to work better in person. But you know what? Maybe somebody will take me up on it, and we'll do a psychic experiment. And I think that's it. YouTube, as always, thank you very much for honoring who I am and what I do. I wish all of you many blessings, and may tomorrow's first day of spring bring you new beginnings and open wonderful new doors for you. Thank you, and good night.